The offence against A is further aggravated by the location in an isolated country lane. The McDonald's offences are made more serious by the timing, late at night, in the dark. All offences are very seriously aggravated by the fact that the defendant was a serving police officer at the time, being a constable in the Metropolitan Police and a member of the Diplomatic Protection Group. On the day he exposed himself to A, the defendant was actually on duty, working from home. The combination of these features takes all the offences well outside the otherwise applicable category range in the guideline. The only mitigation are the guilty pleas entered on the 13th of February. I take into account that this was the first time the defendant was arraigned on the second indictment. However, it was by no means the earliest occasion on which he could have indicated a guilty plea. The defendant is attending via a link from his prison. He's to stay seated where he is. For the offence against A, count 2 on indictment number T 2022-0638, the sentence is one of 19 months imprisonment. There will be concurrent sentences of 6 months on each of counts 2 and 3 on indictment T 2022-0320. The total sentence is accordingly one of 19 months. As I have already said, to the existing whole-of-life sentence from which the defendant will never be released.
Welcome to our viewers who are watching from around the world. What you are seeing are live pictures of the Old Bailey here in London, where Judge Mrs. Justice May is delivering her sentencing remarks in the case of Wayne Couzens. He is being sentenced for indecent exposure, one of the offences committed just days before he killed Sarah Everard. Now, he is not in court. He has appeared via video link from Franklin Prison, where he is serving a whole life sentence for murdering Sarah Everard in March 2021. She was only 33 years old. The reason this case is so significant is that the case of Sarah Everard sparked national outcry, calls for more action to tackle violence against women as well, and it did real damage to society's confidence in the police. So there was a huge amount of reaction and response to the Sarah Everard case, which is one of the reasons why this sentencing has been so closely followed. So that was live pictures we were just seeing from the Old Bailey. This is BBC News. Welcome if you're watching here in the UK or around the globe. I'm Lucy Hockings. Our top stories. 1 month on after the devastating earthquakes that killed more than 50,000 people in Turkey and Syria, many are still living without proper shelter.
You can't deal with devastation on a scale like this in days or even in weeks. The impact of this is going to be felt by people here in southern Turkey for years.
A suicide attack in southwest Pakistan has killed at least 9 police officers. The explosion struck a police truck in Baluchistan province. Migrants crossing the English Channel in small boats would be banned from ever returning to the UK under new government plans. Refugee charities say the proposals are unfair and unworkable. Bangladeshi authorities are investigating the cause of a massive fire in the world's largest refugee camp. 12,000 people have now been left without shelter. And the stars behind the Irish comedy, the Banshees of Inisherin, speak to us ahead of the Oscars, which are on Sunday.
To feel it as colloquial and then see it go out into the world and be received by people from all sorts of, the corners of the globe that we share is pretty surprising and cool.
Hello, welcome to BBC News. We start with breaking news from the Old Bailey here in London. The former Met Police officer Wayne Couzens has been sentenced to 19 months in prison today after admitting to 3 counts of indecent exposure, one of which he committed 4 days before killing Sarah Everard. To remind you, though, he is currently serving a whole life term for the murder of 33-year-old Sarah Everard. Here is Wayne Couzens. He did not appear in court. He was there via video link from Franklin Prison, where, as I mentioned, he is serving a whole life sentence for murdering Sarah Everard in March 2021. And to explain to our viewers around the world, that was a hugely significant case for many people in England because of the national outcry over her death, the fact that he was a serving police officer, the calls there were at the time for more action